Hello, hello. Welcome back to Release Your Inner Power podcast. My name is Shauna B. I'm your host, and I am going to be sharing something that I'm personally going through right now with you today. By the time this is released, it's going to be after, but during this time, it's like graduations, the year's ending, school's getting out. You're trying to figure out like summer plans for your family or what you're going to do, with the nice weather and the time off and all of that kind of stuff. And I thought I was okay. Like I thought I was pretty good. I thought I was okay. And then I realized I'm not. I'm not okay. I'm not okay because my oldest is turning 18 next week. And it's interesting because I was like, oh, when he was 16 and like learning how to drive, I'm like, oh, 16, like after 16, once I got through that and like being freaked out completely, like, oh my gosh, he's going to be in a car. What if he gets an accident? What if he gets pulled over? What if he gets, you know, who knows? Like anything, like what if he cuts somebody else off and he causes them an accident? Like any of that stuff. And just like not being able to protect him, not being able to like almost like control his environment to know that he's going to be safe was like a whole deal when he was 16. Like I let go at little bits of a time, and it was really scary for me because it was almost like it was this whole thing of letting go and letting him be free and go out and just drive. And okay, we literally are talking about driving to the store. Driving to the store. Me and you do this 1,000 times. Me and you do this all the live long day. And here I am like, oh my gosh, she's driving to the store, And when you get your driver's license, you freaking have to practice driving and take a test. It's like so funny, but still, I knew he was a good driver. I trusted his driving. He's very aware of his surroundings, so I wasn't as, like, oh man, this is a boy getting into a car. Yes, when his mom is not with him, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more going on there. At the same time, I still feel like he would be safer about it, and there wasn't any like, maybe he shouldn't have a car, or maybe he shouldn't be driving, right? So there was a lot to go through. There was a lot to process and let go just for driving. So I thought I was in the clear, peeps. I thought I was in the clear. Like I thought 16's a big milestone, whatever, like 18, he's still going to be living at home. He's still going to be going to high school. It's going to be okay. And then here we are. Here we are. Actually, it's less than a week. I was going to say 1 week away. It is less than a week away. And it's so funny because, on social media, you have your memories from X years ago, like 9 years ago, or memories from 5 years ago, or memories, whatever. And it shows you the pictures. And I'm getting all kinds of things from like Father's Day that's coming up, or somebody's graduation that happened, or his birthday. Like all of these memories are coming up that are showing me like him. And what is freaking bananas to me is there was one that came up, and it was like 4 years ago. And I'm looking at his picture, you guys, and he's a babe. He's like maybe up to my shoulders, maybe a little bit taller. He's got baby face. He's still probably like, he's probably in the awkward middle school age of like figuring out who he is, because he's not really a kid anymore, but then he's going to be a teenager and all that, but still like innocent and and not the teenage BS that like not the teenager years and stuff like that that's going through there, but just like it just like totally tugged on my heartstrings. I was like, this was only 4 years ago. 4 years ago. In 4 years, now my child looks like a small man. He is like 6'2", 6'3". He has no baby face. There's no baby in that face anymore. It is like, I'm sure there is, but to me, compared to then, there is no baby left in that face. He is planning what he's doing after he graduates, planning on what he wants to do, whether he wants to travel first, whether he wants to stay living here, whether he wants to move out, whether he wants to go to college, go to a trade school, do whatever. And I'm just like, what? 4 years ago, he was shorter than me and in a different, like, it's just different. Like, how 4 years is so long, yet 4 years is so fast and short in the blink of an eye. And I found myself in this last week looking at him and just being like, holy crap. Like, that's my firstborn. Like, that kiddo is the one that made me a mama. He's the one that made me a mom. He's the one where it was just me and him for 8 years, just me and him. And now he's like 18. Like, first of all, how is he 18 when I'm still like 25? Can you explain that to me, please? Because in my brain, I stopped aging. I'm the same age, and people ask me, and yo, I'm 25. That's just what it is. Somebody said you've said 25 for too long, so now I got to cut it to 30. Fine. I'm 30, but still, I'm like, how do I have an 18-year-old child? How? Man, there's something happens, when they turn 18, like as a mom, like they are legally an adult. So anything that happens to them now is on their responsibility. It's their problem to deal with. It's like not your problem. It's not your stuff anymore. It's like you are no longer responsible for this human, for your child. Like, yeah, you're still their parent. Yes, you can still guide them. Yes, you can still be there. All of that. That doesn't change, but like I feel like it's the level of protection just disappears. Like and it's not like they're going out. I always say releasing into the wild. I feel like he's releasing into the wild and he has good skills and tools under his belt. He knows he's got a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he wants to do. I'm not like worried about that. It's just the world, man, is crazy. There's crazy circus shenanigans happening out there. There's things that are out there that you cannot protect them from anyway, but now they're like fleeing the nest. They're really being released into the wild to see if they can like hack it. It makes me really uncomfortable, and it makes me really like, I am not okay or ready for this. And it was interesting because I'm asking him, I'm sitting him down and I'm like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you see yourself in 3 years? What do you? And it's so cool to see how open he is and curious about finding out what that even is and being okay with change and not having to stick to the path of what I call social norms of what you're supposed to do. Like, he says, I don't even know if I want to go to college, mom. I don't even know if I want to do that. I might just want to do a trade school and that's it. He's like, I want to be busy. I want to do something that I like doing, and I'm like, what about living here? And he's like, I don't know. I kind of want to live on my own, but it's hard right now because things are expensive. And no joke, I don't know where you live, but up here in the Pacific Northwest, rent is crazy. Like, young adults, I almost said kiddos. I'm working on it. Young adults that are being released into the wild. When I was his age, I lived with a roommate. I didn't have to, but I lived with a roommate. We split the rent, we split the bills. We lived there for a year. It was like, we're with your friend. You're not by yourself. You're like getting your feet wet on how to even do all of those responsibilities that you had no idea about when you lived with your parents. Let's be real. And you kind of get your feet wet to then like move on to be living on your own, which is what I did. I lived with one of my best friends for a year, and then I moved on my own into my own apartment and paid my own rent, paid my own bills. Today, I don't know if that's a possibility. I feel like to them, they're hindered from being able to do that and hindered from being able to go out and really explore that because it's so expensive. It's so expensive. They would have to have two roommates and possibly three to even make it until they get their, quote unquote career of what they're doing. It's it's a really interesting time. So part of me is like, you know, chatting with about that, like, hey, you can stay here. If you're in school, you can stay here and like, of course, you can stay with your mom as long as you want, but you can stay here while you're in school until you get your established self and then, then go be and release into the wild, right? Like that's kind of what I'm hoping that he chooses. But at the same time, when he's 18, he's still living here. I want him to make these choices and decisions in like the safe zone or the familiar zone for him. So he has that room and an area to like grow and make those choices, but then be able to come back and get guidance from me. Not saying that he will never ever have that guidance or ever have that support from me, because he always will, whether he's living here or not. It's just, it hits different, man. It hits different. Like I want more time with him. I feel like I'm going to try not to get emotional right now. Holy moly. So like, I feel like you have this time with them. And you have to make those good habits of like connecting with them while they're here. Like back when he was 16, I remember thinking, man, this is like one foot out the door. I need to make sure I have some kind of routine where I'm either like texting him or checking in with him, or, hey, we're going to have dinner on this night, to like bring him back. Because, you know, when they're teenagers and they get more freedom, they want to be with their friends, they want to do their things. If you don't have established habits or a good connection with them, when they leave, it's like, oh yeah, I got to check in with moms like 3 months later, and we're over here like, it's been 3 months, seriously? Can't even like talk to your mom? What's going on? Like, I was making jokes on how I have to perfect my braiding technique, so then he has to come to his mom to get his hair braided, so I know he will come to me more. Like, what? Like, granted, that's my bad. My braiding should be on point by now, but I'm still learning, and I haven't stopped. I'm still learning, but it's not to the point that he probably wants it. So I'm gonna work on that though, because that's gonna be a thing that's gonna bring my babe home to me. But it's it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just hits different. So with the habits and things, as I started reaching out to him, or, hey, what are we going to do? Like in the summertime, I do something individually with each child. Like I will go on a trip with him, or I will go do something. I will have an experience with my kid. So there's like memories and experience that hold on to them, that like hold on to that moment. So they have that with me. They have that connection with me, in hopes, because what I value, and granted, our values are different. What I value is having my family close. Like I want to be, you know, the grandma or the mom that has her family that comes back. Whether my kids choose to have children or not is their decision, but I want them to have a house to come to. We're going to visit where we're all together, and I can like catch up with them and I can visit them. And maybe that's a big dream, but that's something that I want, is like Sunday dinner coming back to me. So I think with this whole 18 thing is like, it's a step closer to making that a reality, and to see if it's a reality, right? Because you can't control everything. This is what I would like. This is what I want. Is it going to happen? You know, like the question's there. Is it going to happen? Are these Sunday dinners going to happen? Is this time like spending with my kids going to happen? Am I going to get to see them? And am I going to be okay with this? What? Am I going to be okay with this? Am I going to be okay with him being gone and doing all the things, and like, you know, processing that he's being released into the wild? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It is mind blowing. It's mind blowing to me that 4 years ago, completely different than like, completely different. Like playing sports, doing homework, going to school, like finding out who they are, like all of this. And then now, oh, what are you going to do? You're graduating soon. What are you going to do with your life? And then just being able to go do whatever because you're 18, signing your own, you know, like we're talking like credit cards, going and renting something, going and buying something, going anything. He's 18, he literally can do anything. It's like, please let the seeds that I have planted into this child's brain have some kind of seedling or growth on them for him to make the right decisions. It's literally all you can do as a parent, is hope and pray, like, let's hope that this is planted and it was nourished enough for him to be successful, and not an a-hole. Like, you want your kid to grow up and be like a contributing member of society, in a way of causing that ripple effect, being a decent human being, and, you know, helping others, doing things that like lift people up, and not just be a, you know, gigantic jerk. Am I right? Like, Yeah, of course, you want, I want my kid to be this or that or super successful and all that. Yes, but when you break it down, you want them to be a decent human being and not a jerk, which I think I won with that. I think I won with that just by watching him, observing him with his friends, observing him with me, observing him with his siblings, and seeing all that. I think I won. So, yes to mom wins. Yes, and wins to 18. But I feel like this is the door that we walk through at 18, where it's like from 18 to 21. This is the scary trench. I feel like this is like the final level, if you will, but almost like free of your parents. Like the final level that like crosses you over into this, are you going to be successful, is from 18 to 21, because you can do a lot of things from 18 to 21. I don't know about you, but 18 to 21 was like my trajectory of which path was I going to take? Where was I going to go? What was happening in my life? Because I'm free of my parents, making my own choices. Is this going to be on a good thing or good path, bad path, what have you? 18 to 21 is really scary. And to not be able to, I mean, if we really want to control the protection of the environment around them, is scary. Is scary. So I'm going to have to let you know how I do once this all passes and settles. But right now, it's one day at a time, telling myself that he's got this, encouraging things, and making sure that I stay connected to him. I stay having that relationship and that bond be strong, and, reassuring to myself, looking at what he's doing, that's reassuring me, like he's got this. And we are going to be okay, right? We are going to be okay. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today on what I'm currently going through. And if you're somebody that's going through it, reach out to me. You got techniques and you got techniques and tools and things that you utilize to get through this, please share them with me. I would love to hear them. I would love to hear if you're also going through this, so we can encourage each other together, because this is no joke, like a whole phase of life that we have to go through. And I will talk and chat with y'all soon.